The Story Vault presents Gladiator's Creed, Episode 13. Bonds forged in blood. The sun beats down on the training yard. Pavo's voice rings out over the clash of swords and grunts of sparring gladiators. His tone drips with mockery. Weakness doesn't belong here, Tiberius. Mercy is for slaves, not gladiators. Tiberius steps back from their sparring match, his sword steady, his eyes locked on Pavo's towering frame. Sweat drips from his brow, but his voice remains calm. Strength isn't just in the killing, Pavo. Pavo laughs loudly, tossing his weapon aside as he strides toward the water barrel. Other gladiators chuckle nervously, their glances darting between the two. Cassia watches from the sidelines, arms crossed. Her sharp gaze flicks between them, her expression unreadable. As the crowd disperses, she approaches Tiberius, her movements deliberate. "You're either the bravest man I've met or the most stubborn," she says, a smirk playing on her lips. "Maybe both," Tiberius replies, his tone steady but uncertain. Cassia leans casually against a stone pillar, her leather training gear hugging her form. She tilts her head, studying him. "You keep playing the hero, and Dominus will turn his wrath on you next. You're not as invisible as you think, Tiberius. Be careful." Her hand brushes his arm briefly before she steps away, leaving him momentarily unsettled. The slave quarters are quiet as the sun sets. Pavo sneaks out of a dimly lit doorway, his movements uncharacteristically cautious. A beautiful slave girl stands in the shadows watching him go. As he turns the corner, Dominus emerges from another hall. His eyes narrow and his jaw tightens when he realizes where Pavo has been. The girl quickly retreats into the shadows. Dominus's voice is low and cold. "Pavo, my quarters, now!" The training yard buzzes with energy the following morning. Dominus's voice cuts through the murmurs. "Pavo has overstepped. The crowd does not tolerate arrogance, and neither do I. Guards, prepare the yard. Let this be a lesson." Pavo smirks, stepping into the center of the yard. His confidence is unshaken even as the guards surround him. "Is this the best you've got, Dominus? A few guards?" The match begins. Pavo moves like a storm, his warhammer striking with overwhelming force. Guards fall one by one, their cries drowned by the cheers of the other gladiators. Despite the odds, Pavo fights with relentless fury, a beast unleashed. Dominus's face darkens as Pavo nears victory. "Send more guards," he growls. The guards charge in, surrounding Pavo. His chest heaves, sweat dripping down his face. He raises his hammer defiantly. "Bring it on, cowards!" The guards close in. Just as the first strike comes, Tiberius steps into the ring, sword drawn. His voice carries over the noise. Gladiators stand together. Tiberius and Pavo fight back to back. Their movements are precise, brutal. Guards fall under their blades and hammer one after another. The onlookers are silent, watching in awe as the two gladiators defy the impossible. As the last guard falls, more reinforcements rush forward, but Dominus raises his hand, stopping them. He steps into the yard, his expression unreadable. Enough! Pavo and Tiberius stand amidst the fallen guards, their chests heaving. The crowd erupts into cheers. Dominus's voice cuts through the noise. You both defy me, and yet you impress me. But defiance has consequences. Guards, take them to the pit. The pit is dark and damp. Tiberius leans against the wall, his arms crossed, while Pavo paces, muttering curses under his breath. Didn't think you had it in you, Tiberius, Pavo says finally, a grin breaking through his frustration. Didn't think you'd need saving, Tiberius replies, a rare smile tugging at his lips. Pavo laughs, shaking his head. You're not so bad after all. Neither are you. The two laugh together, their shared ordeal forging a bond stronger than steel. Dominus sits in his chambers later that evening, nursing a goblet of wine. His wife enters, her gaze sharp. Why would you risk losing Pavo, your best fighter? She demands. Dominus stammers, his usual composure faltering. He disobeyed me. It's about discipline. A lesson. Her eyes narrow. Discipline or jealousy? Dominus chokes on his wine, fumbling for words. Discipline, of course. Always discipline. She raises an eyebrow but says nothing, leaving the room with a knowing smirk. Dominus exhales, sinking back into his chair. As dawn breaks, Pavo and Tiberius are released from the pit. Other gladiators watch in silence as the two emerge, battered but triumphant. They exchange a knowing look, their bond now unshakable. Above them, storm clouds gather, thunder rumbling faintly in the distance. The battles ahead promise to be even more perilous, but for now they walk side by side. Thank you for joining us for this thrilling episode of Gladiator's Creed. If you enjoyed the action and drama, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. The storm is far from over.